Howdy everyone, welcome to Couch GLE's Critic Edition today. Today I'm going to be talking about a recent movie that I've just watched 28 years later, sorry. This is a sequel obviously from the trilogy, which was starting from Danny Boyle's first film, which was The Director. He had Cillian Murphy in it, which was 28 days later. Then the second one, which was taken over by a different director, which was 20 weeks later. Now, Danny Boyle returns on the helm to make the film 20 years later, which is obviously about a rage virus that's taken over UK, which is a zombie virus, makes people go crazy and rage, taking over. Personally, the first one was actually very good. It was ahead of its time in the zombie franchise. It was taking a different turn on zombies, whereas normally you're always seeing zombies being slow, steady, eating brains kind of thing. This was more about still having that human, but being much faster and enraged. So obviously the rage was taken in control and uncontrollable violence. But back to this one 20 years later. Now, this had a good cast. This was Aaron Taylor Johnson, which is apparently he's in the running for James Bond, apparently. It was him, Ralph Fiennes, which made a lot of people may know him for all various different films, but most notable one is Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter franchise. This one takes 20 years later from the first movie. The second one they discontinued because it was different from the vision of the director taking back the film for this one. So obviously I'm going to give a spoiler-free review on this. I'm just going to do a quick 2 minute, 3 minute video. Now basically it's just same old same, a virus taking over, but it's 20 years later, and they've just shown that people living on this island past Scotland, how they're living in these conditions now. Now it felt as if they were set back a civilization, so they didn't have mobile phones, TVs, all sorts. So they were all didn't even have guns. A matter of fact, they were hunting like with bow and arrows. So they were in that era. So obviously it starts off with the main antagonist, the father, that's taken out his son that he's just turned 12, and it's like a rite of passage for them that they go out into the mainland to do some hunting, scavengers, look for stuff for the people on the island. And they were given the ultimatum that if you go, you're on your own, nobody's coming back looking for you if you don't come back. And when you do return, you'll need to check if you're infected or not. So obviously the father and the son agreed. So it was their journey towards that, getting to the mainland, sorry, finding scavenging stuff for that they could use for the household stuff, and along the way they encounter different types of zombies, and the father's teaching the sons where to kill, where to shoot, and what kind of which one is which. So along the lines, they see a different person far away. So the father tells them who that person is. He's a doctor, which they're actually in need of, but because his wife's being very ill, and as I say, they're back at civilization, so they don't have any doctors in their island, so they can't do a diagnostic of what's wrong with his wife, and the kid's adamant that he wants to speak to the doctor, but the father's telling him no, that guy's crazy. Whole story along the lines of that. I think probably prepare seeing it, then you'll understand the the situation of the story and that. So basically, it's got great visual effects. So the son and the father get trapped. They travel back home, come home because it's like end of the day, and they were almost caught by a rush of zombies. So it was too dangerous to be all night out there. And then when they return home, the son finds out that where the doctor lives, and he takes the mother, the father's permission, out into the wilderness again to look for the doctor to do a diagnosis to see if he could actually save his mother, because he's thinking the father's not really up for it. But again, there's a whole other story towards that, which it does. hit the emotional mark, to be honest with you, because it's something that you're not expecting, and then it just turns it around. As I say, the film is very gory, zombified, a bit over the 18, to be honest with you. So if you're watching it, bear in mind in that. And but the camera angles and everything was perfectly shot. But it was a bit, motion. But apparently, it's the director had actually shot the full film on an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So the full film was, made on an iPhone. Wee fun fact as well. I don't know. My personal review on the film, I enjoyed it to a certain extent. I felt the slow character building from the start was a bit slow for myself, but I could understand why they were doing that, building up for the storyline of each characters. And I feel as if they might do another trilogy from here. So that's what it's looking like. It says it's not that long of a film, to be honest with you. An hour and 15 minutes or something, that's including credits. So it's a decent film if you like that genre of the zombies. And it's got heart, it's got gore, it's got violence, it's got a bit of storyline towards it as well. And that was my take on that, my honest review. So if you enjoy it, leave a like, comment, share. Once again, Scout G. Ali's Critic Edition. Peace out and stay entertained, folks. Nice to be nice.